Good morning, good people. We're asking that you please take your seats at this time so that we can start this illustrious UNCF breakfast. Thank you so much. We'll start in 2 minutes. I'm going to have glasses. Act like I'm doing something. Okay. Thank you, Cooley. All right.
Good morning, everyone. I am Shalise Tolbert, and I am the chair of the Northwest Indiana Leadership Council of UNCF. I think I've been the chair about 6 or 7 years now, and they won't let me leave. But I am honored to serve on this council. It is very dear to my heart, although I didn't go to an HBCU. I am very passionate about supporting the education of students. On behalf of the council and the office of the mayor, I would like to welcome and thank you for attending our 7th annual UNCF.
Community is making in its mission for our future leaders and as we begin Black History Month. Please welcome my friend and colleague, Attorney Shalise Tolbert, who is also the chair of the UNCF Northwest Indiana Leadership Council.
Color to and through college. And that's important to realize that we're not just getting them to the schools, we're getting them to the finish line. And of course, this includes support to our students here from Gary. The Mayor's Office and the UNCF Leadership Council are committed to the success of our future leaders and therefore have made this an annual event between UNCF, Northwest Indiana Leadership Council, and the Mayor's Office to support our local scholarship program and statewide campaign. Since the council's inception in 2007, under the leadership of Andrea Neely, the UNCF Regional Development Director, who's seated right here up front. She's the one that won't let me go. Under her leadership, the council has raised over $700,000 in support of students from the northern region of Indiana whose scholarships average about $4,000 annually and are renewable up to 4 years. With the founding and current members, and of course, this includes support to our students here from Gary. The Mayor's Office and the UNCF Leadership Council are committed to the success of our future leaders and therefore have made this an annual event between UNCF, Northwest Indiana Leadership Council, and the Mayor's Office to support our local scholarship program and statewide campaign. Since the council's inception in 2007, under the leadership of Andrea Neely, the UNCF UNCF Regional Development Director. He's seated right here up front. She's the one that won't let me go.
And I will say thank you, Shalise. You didn't go to an HBCU, but I did. HU? Okay, back on script. Here we go. Thank you, Shalise, Mayor and Leadership Council.
Tonight for $2,500. So it doesn't just stop with, us having these events and registering for these events and donating for just a specific event. It's all year. We could use the support of you at all times of the year as we start off our application process. And with that, I am just going to simply say thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I will say thank you, Shalise. You didn't go to an HBCU, but I did. HU? Okay. Third term in 2007. In 2008, 1 month into a new term, he was unanimously selected by the precinct committee persons of Lake County's 3rd District to serve the unexpired term of Prince launched his governmental career as a real estate deputy in the Calumet Township Assessor's Office in 1994. And in 1998, he was elected as a member of the Gary Precinct Committee organization. In 1999, Prince was elected to the office of the 5th District Gary City Council, having unseated Cleo Wesson, who was the longest-serving councilman in the city of Gary, serving nearly 40 years. He was then reelected to a 2nd term in 2003, a 3rd term in 2007, in 2008, 1 month into a new
this event and the efforts that are associated with it. Good morning. Thank you to Chelsea, especially for that really, really warm greeting. Certainly warms my heart. I am honored to be here this morning in so many ways. As Chelsea said, it's been a 20-year journey to this point, and I'm just pleased and privileged in so many ways to serve. Mind is a terrible thing. Direction that they can live out the United Negro College Fund mission statement, and that is for young people to have rich and intellectual lives. To create a better future for young people is to take action. To create that, as Shalise stated, it's served over 500,000 students and raised over $5 billion in college tuition assistance for all of those students. Not only a better future for all people is to take action, and certainly to create a better future for the citizens of Gary is to take action. I challenge each of you here today and all of your constituents and associates to continue to join our efforts as we come together as a city, as an administration, and all of our residents to continue to take action. Over the past few months, I've been encouraging people across the entire country, and that's something that certainly should be commended. When I hear the phrase, "a mind is a terrible thing to waste," it reminds me of the first time I heard it, which was 1972. And to that extent, I'm Gary. And to me, that means us reimagining a city where we all come together collectively to ensure the success of not only our residents, but all the students that we support so gladly. Lastly, I have a bit of housekeeping to do, and as some of you know, and as was stated, Deanna and I were married 37 years ago. Today is our 37th wedding anniversary. And I mention that because if I didn't, she would certainly let me hear it when we leave. But not only that, it's important for everyone to have the type of support that they need, especially when you serve in capacities such as this. And Deanna has been there since the time that I met her, and she continues to be my rock and my support. And for that reason, I love her very much. Deanna, happy anniversary. Here comes our new police chief with a special surprise and a gift for you, my love. Thank you. And thank you all for attending this morning. Seven years ago. Today is our 37th wedding anniversary. And I mention that because
Three words. Yay for love.
let me hear it when we leave. But not only that, it's important for everyone to have the type of support that they need, especially when you serve in capacities such as this. And Deanna has been there.
So I neglected to do the second part of my sentence, but of introductions for our speakers who are coming up. But that just gives me an opportunity to come back and recognize
The time that I met her, and she continues to be my rock and my support. And for that reason, I love her very much.
him to our
Here for 6 of them. And let me just start off by saying we can't do this work without individuals like yourself. Mayor Price, thank you. Prince, thank you. Welcome to the UNCF family. We know that you will join us in helping to make sure that young individuals from Gary and
Thank
around.
you so much. And certainly we'd like to recognize members of our clergy who are here today. Our clergy, thank you so much for being, thank you. All right, now coming to the podium is none other than Mr. Fred Mitchell, and we'd like to welcome him to our beautiful city. He is from UNCF, and he is the Vice President of Development of the Mid-Atlantic region, and he is going to bring greetings. Welcome, Mr. Mitchell.
Inspire while they inform, and affirm who you are while they define who you can be. UNCF leaders for the state of Indiana. They work tirelessly every day. And Andrea, while she's responsible for Indiana, she also does the work in Ohio. She's one of the persons that work for me that I'm most proud of. I remember when she started for young men and women to get a college education. We have 37 member institutions that nurture while they educate, inspire while they inform, and affirm who you are while they define who you can be. So I encourage you to continue to support as we move forward into our 76th year, and I look forward to coming back again next year. I look forward to more students being supported by your efforts. Thank you very much, and enjoy the remainder of the morning. One last thing, I can't leave without saying this. I do want to have Andrea stand. And if he's in the room, I'd like Brian Kelly to stand. There he is in the back. These are your UNCF leaders for the state of Indiana.
Morning's breakfast, and I really want to thank Andrea Neely. I want to thank you for your leadership across Indiana and Ohio, both places where NIPSCO and NISOURCE are really prominent, so thank you for that. Now for
In our workforce and our community. That is called dedication and commitment. Now, let's welcome today's presenting sponsor, an individual who exemplifies what being a force multiplier is all about. Please welcome Vice President of Communications and External Affairs, you know I love that, of NIPSCO, Miss Jennifer Montague, who will bring corporate remarks. Let's welcome her as she comes.
Thank you so much. Good morning and welcome. It's really my pleasure to be with you here today. First of all, I want to thank Mayor Prince for graciously hosting this morning's breakfast, and I really want to thank Andrea Neely. I want to thank you for your leadership across, as well as the Northwest Indiana Urban League and the East Chicago Ministerial Alliance. But even though we've done a lot of things, we know there's more that we can continue to do in the company and out to keep making a positive impact. Because ultimately, our collective futures are really in the hands of the next generation. And so it's critical that we continue to find ways to keep supporting development opportunities. Now, last summer, we launched our new Youth Summer Ambassador Program. We had 50 high school sophomores and juniors who were trained to work with NIPSCO during the summer. So you may have seen some of them out at community events. They were talking about your energy, your future, and energy efficiency. But it was a really great collaboration that we did with the local NAACP branches in Gary, Hammond, and LaPorte County, as well as the Northwest Indiana Urban League and the East Chicago Ministerial Alliance. But even though we've done a lot of things, we know there's more that we can continue to do in the company and out to keep making a positive impact. Because ultimately, our collective futures are really in the hands of the next generation. And so it's critical that we continue to find ways to keep supporting them. Now, I also, like Shalise, didn't go to an HBCU, but I was just in DC this weekend. My mother turned 80, and
Please join me in giving Ms. Montague another round of applause.
on getting people scholarships to go to school and getting them through school. So it's, I just wanted to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for the work that UNCF continues to do to support our community. Thank you for attending this morning's breakfast, and of course, thank you for your continued support of UNCF.
efforts for the Gary Community School Corporation, and as you can see, they make my job easy because there's so many great stories to tell about all of the talent that abounds in our school system. One more time for Naomi and Robert. I don't know if there were any of you who took piano lessons as a child like I did, and I'd rather die than do the recitals. That was just that feeling, that nervousness. But
College Fund, we pray that you would bless its vision as well as its mission, that you would supply all of our needs according to your riches and glory. And now, Father, for the food that has been prepared as well as the hands that prepared it, pray that you would
join me in welcoming Reverend Reagan E. Robinson of St. John Missionary Baptist Church for the invocation, followed by breakfast being served. Let's welcome him as he comes.
Shall we bow? God of our silent tears, God of our weary years, thou who has brought us thus far on the way, God, we come now to pause collectively to thank you for this day, for your many blessings. We thank you fresh for the United Negro College Fund. We pray that you would bless its vision as well as its mission, that you would supply all of our needs according to your riches and glory. And now, Father, for the food that has been prepared.
by calling 219-882-5505. All right, family reunion is over. You know how we are at these events. We can talk and greet one another, but it is my task to keep us on task. And by a round of applause, did you enjoy your breakfast, or are you enjoying your breakfast? As you take your seats, I'd certainly like to pause and acknowledge the staff of the Genesis Convention Center led by Rob. $100. This includes the scholars awarded from the Northwest Indiana Scholarship. I'd also like to acknowledge, we acknowledged the young people earlier, Robert and Naomi. Their principal is also here from Westside Leadership Academy, Mr. Athenio Mahone. I saw him around here. If he's still here, there he is. You should be very proud, Mr. Mahone. All right. UNCF was created over 75 years ago to provide operating support and scholarships to HBCUs to ensure students of color received a quality education, not only at member schools, but also Indiana. So beautifully today, if you're interested in the Howard alumni, we have a Howard Alumni Club. We raise money for scholars. Okay, that's another conversation. We'll talk offline. All right, thank you so much. UNCF's legacy. Okay, here we go. So this young man, I received a call last. Always do, I call him out. There's FAMU was at my table, Hampton, TSU, Jackson State. What are some others? Morehouse. I just love this part of the program. Thank you so much. The legacy lives on. And for those students who played the piano so beautifully today, if you're interested in the Howard alumni, we have a Howard Alumni Club. We raise money for scholars. Okay, that's another conversation. We'll talk offline. All right, thank you so much. UNCF's legacy. Okay. Here we go. So this young man, I received a call last night as we were going over the script and making sure that I had the information to introduce the speaker.
A 488 batting average. When Griffith ended his professional baseball career, he started Juiced Up Athletics Corporation. Now that's where he utilizes his talents to coach, train. At the tender age of 11, Chicago native Julian Griffith landed his first acting role in the 2001 film Hardball, starring Keanu Reeves. Now, from that day forward, Griffith's life and career has involved acting, sports, and philanthropy. After graduating with honors from Seton Academy High School in South Holland, he moved on to play baseball at St. Joseph's College and Calumet College of St. Joseph. Now, Calumet, Griffith was the first African-American male to graduate from the education program with an elementary education and second.
So time flies. But most people don't know that I was the first African-American man to graduate from the education program at Calumet.
Welcome the gifted and talented Mr. Julian Griffith. Thank you. Oh, there he is.
Good morning, everybody. I love hearing the bios about myself. It's always refreshing and humbling to know the accomplishments I've achieved in such a short time. Most people know me from the entertainment business. You might have seen me in Hardball if you are old enough. A story always comes to mind. I won't say the name of the school, but I'll tell you that when they want to show Chicago Public Schools in a good light, they always go to this school. When they want to show Chicago Public Schools in a negative light, they go to most of the schools I service in Inglewood. But I went to this Northside school in an early childhood program, and it was my responsibility as an auditor and a coach to make sure that the physical environment was safe, the teachers were on task, and that they were teaching to the crew. And I was fortunate enough to be raised by a teacher My mom is right here. She taught 42 years. They advocate for the diversifying of the teaching environment. They want the districts, the innovation schools, the charter schools to hire our teachers from our HBCUs. And which leads me to my next point in why we should invest financially into education. As they said, I travel around, I run Juiced Up. I want to be a teacher. Most of them want to be professional athletes, entertainers, actors, and those are all great careers. I'm in those careers. However, we need more teachers. It always starts in the classroom, at home. And I was fortunate enough to be raised by a teacher. My mom is right here. She taught 42 years in Chicago public schools. Jordans, belts, you name it, but our kids can't read. And so we care about how our kids are being judged on the outer appearance, but we're not focusing on the inside and how their long-term effect will dictate their future in life. Our education system is designing and training our kids to have a worker's mentality. And in diversifying our classrooms, we can get more people, excuse me, who understand the ownership mentality, the entrepreneurship mentality. We need more black owners, lots of money into their children. I see it firsthand with my business. If I name a price, I go to some of these other areas with higher incomes and they are okay because their kids want it. And we as parents, we as teachers, we as staff members and workforce, we have to focus on investing in our kids financially. We have to invest. Too many times we focus on how they look on the outside. We invest $1,000 iPhones, shoes, Jordans, belts, you name it. But our kids, most of our kids, I was teaching middle school science, 7th and 8th grade science. But I gotta finish. And in diversifying our classrooms, it adds to relatability in education. In 2013, when I was doing my student teaching, I did it in a middle school in Hammond. It was Gavitt. And before I started the student teaching, I spoke with the teachers and they told me don't come in with too high of an expectation. I said, why is that? They said, well, if you're going to give them homework, because you're going to be teaching them for the next 10 weeks, don't have them read to go over and talk to her. But you ask your friend to go over there and put you on. That was the phrase we used. Go put me on, bro. You know. And when I explained it, gave examples, they got it. To a point where when it came to the quiz, it was like, Mr. G, can we he put me on the quiz? I was like, no, you have to be politically correct, but they got it. Even to a point where to get them to understand the periodic table, it was something as simple as, hey, you text in abbreviations. Everything is shortened. Like I said, we need more black CEOs, doctors, lawyers, and I tell them, God, and in diversifying our classrooms, they have someone. We have to break our kids out of this bare minimum mentality. They think that doing the bare minimum and getting by is enough. But I always use this example when I speak. If I have one heart surgeon right here who passed the exam on 1 try, and I have another one that passed it on 4 tries, who is going to deliver your heart transplant? And most of them say the first one, the one that passed it on the first try. Then I have a few that say the one that took 4 times to take the test. I was like, well, why is that? He was like, he studied long. Scholarships annually for students from the region, this area, up to $5,000 renewable every year. Every year, yes. In their family to go to college and not only go to the development and the long-term effect of diversifying classrooms. They're actually partnering with Marian University on raising awareness to diversify our classrooms. UNCF has provided scholarships to over 300 Indiana students, totaling $400,000, and that alone is commendable. And they also provide scholarships for 6 to 8 need-based scholarships annually for students from the region. This area, up to $5,000 renewable every year. Every year, yes. In closing, a mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. And you all are here because you all are capable of providing an opportunity baseball player entrepreneur, philanthropist, and motivational speaker. But I was the first black man to ever graduate from the education program from Calumet College of St. Joseph. And with your contribution, I was the first, but I definitely won't be the last. Thank you all, and God bless.
And let's welcome her as she comes, Miss Tammy Davis.
Neely, Shalise Tolbert, Mayor Prince, and all of the officers, members, and volunteers who work with the United Negro College Fund of Northwest Indiana. I am a very proud graduate of Jackson.
Her journey to success is because of her educational foundation. She has a very special request, and let's welcome her as she comes, Miss Tammy Davis.
Good morning. I have the very difficult task of standing between you and the exit door. So the long speech that I have prepared is about to be very abbreviated to about one paragraph or two or three. But thank you so very much, Chelsea, for that introduction. Thank you to Insurance owned and operated a candy store out of East Chicago. Going to Circle City Classic was the next best thing to me. They dominated the battle of the bands. They generally won the football team, but it was always the energy of the fans that really and truly excited me. So when it came time to apply for college, Jackson State was at the top of my list, and that's pun intended. For those of you who don't know, our models, the I love Jackson State, get it, you'll get it when you, and I don't mean pride in an arrogant sense, but I mean it in a way in which I have a level of comfort in my own history. When employers came onto an HBCU campus, they were recruiting people that looked like me intentionally. They were specific, looking for someone like resourceful. It taught me resiliency, self-reliance, and pride. And I don't mean pride in an arrogant sense, but I mean it in a way in which I have a level of comfort in my own history and existence as an African American, a female, and an African American female. Those are three buckets that I cannot separate from myself. And Jackson State honed that ability, that capability and capacity to feel very proud in myself and what I can do. There is a misnomer that when people attend black colleges that they don't get recruited into the top corporations. And that is certainly not the case. When employers came onto an HBCU campus, they were recruiting people that looked like members of UNCF organizations. You can sit down. Thank you. Now, for those of you who did not, so in that wonderful gold box of yours, you have a form. And I'm going to do my Vanna moment. Inside of your form, you have a pledge form. So for all of our employers in the room, stand up. And don't make me call you out, because I know I'm looking at a whole lot of y'all. Employers, big or small, corporations, stand up. There are two ways in which you can give. One, I want you to pledge to give opportunities to our students of HBCUs for internships, for employment. They need experience for and at historically black colleges and universities. So what I'm saying to you is this. everybody could give a check. All money is green. Love has no color or no boundaries, and neither does education. And so we need you to give. I know that Mr. Julian stole my thunder because I was going to make my wouldn't do for whatever reason, and give to support another student who could go to an HBCU. Now, let me just tell you, you can sit down because I know y'all tired of standing. HBCUs are very diverse now. They are historically black. They are predominantly black student populated, but they welcome everyone, regardless of race, nationality, color, creed, national origin. You will find
Let's thank Tammy Davis again. Next time, Tammy, I'm gonna just need you to have a little community partners, such as many of you in this room. I'm gonna remind you once again to please take the time to open that gold box, grab your pledge card, and make your pledge.
as $1 and an opportunity. Thank you.
Let's thank Tammy Davis again. Next time, Tammy, I'm gonna just need you to have a little bit more energy. You know, she needs to bring a little bit more. Kidding, kidding. The funds raised from this market and the statewide UNCF campaigns will make all the difference in a young person's life and the community. Today, and after being the MC for the past few years, I am now a proud member of the Leadership Council for UNCF, Northwest Indiana. And so now my commitment is taken to the next level, and I want to thank you, Andrea, Attorney Tolbert, and everybody on the team. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Can we count on everyone in here to invest in the next Julian Griffith? Or our Northwest Indiana Scholarship Program, whose application process is now open for the fall of 2020 academic school year. I hope we can count on you. And it has been my honor to serve as your MC today. And after being the MC for the past few years, I am now a proud member of the Leadership Council for UNCF, Northwest Indiana. And so now